Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now I would like to discuss about 3rd BSc 5th semester biochemistry 6th paper, that is molecular biology and recombinant DNA technology. From this paper, we are discussing about Unit 4, blotting techniques. We have seen about southern blotting. Once let's revise the southern blotting and move on to the next blotting technique, that is northern blotting. Okay. So firstly, here blotting techniques are meant for the identification of nucleic acids and proteins, and here hybridization is the basic method on which this particular blotting techniques depend upon. Okay, here southern blotting is meant for the identification of DNA. Okay, for identification of DNA you can use this southern blotting technique, and this method was invented by Sir Edwin Sutherland, and it is named after his name only. Okay, now let's see this southern blotting stepwise. Firstly, we should isolate the DNA, genomic DNA, for further identification of required fragment of DNA or a gene in that particular genomic DNA. Okay, so whatever the genomic DNA we isolate using the cell lysis, this is treated with restriction endonucleases to cut the DNA into smaller fragments. Okay, and these smaller fragments are will treat these smaller fragments in electrophoresis, and by agarose gel electrophoresis we can separate them based on their molecular size. Okay, based on their molecular weight you can separate those particular DNA fragments. All the DNA fragments which are similar to their molecular weight can be separated using this agarose gel electrophoresis. Okay, and DNA fragments larger than 15 kb, these are treated with acid like dilute HCl to depurinate DNA fragments. Okay, and breaking DNA into smaller pieces, finally we can get an efficient gel membrane. Okay, so after alkali treatment methods will DNA gel is placed in an alkali solution, that is NaOH, to denature double stranded DNA, and by denaturation of this DNA in an alkali environment, it will improve the binding of negatively charged DNA to positively charged membrane. Okay, and here this is separated into single stranded DNA for later hybridization to the probe, and destroys any residual RNA that may still be present in DNA. By alkali treatment we can make it this particular DNA more negative, so that it can easily attach to the positively charged membrane, and DNA strands will also be properly hybridized to the probe, and also this alkali treatment will will destroy the residual RNA which is present along with the RNA. Okay, and we'll take a sheet of nitrocellulose membrane and we'll place on top of this particular gel, and we'll apply some pressure onto the gel, and by adding that pressure easy and good and easy contact between gel and the membrane will be produced, and buffer transfers the capillary action from region of high water potential to region of low water potential and is used to move the DNA from the gel onto the membrane. Okay, and now we'll bake the membrane. Okay, we'll bake the nitrocellulose membrane to attach DNA fragments or DNA bands onto the nitrocellulose membrane, and will bake in the oven at 80 degrees centigrade for 2 hours. Okay, and this particular DNA bands will be permanently attached to the membrane. Okay, by this baking process we can permanently attach the DNA fragments which are transferred from the agarose gel electrophoresis onto the nylon membrane or nitrocellulose membrane. Now the membrane is exposed to hybridization probe. Okay, we'll add probe, radio labeled probe, and we'll treat this particular nitrocellulose paper with the probe. Okay, and here a single DNA fragment with the specific sequence whose presence in the target DNA is to be determined. This probe will identify the proper and suitable DNA fragment, and it will bind to that particular DNA fragment. Okay, and after hybridization process, the excess probes will be washed with the help of washing buffer, and will absorb the hybridized DNA along with the probe in the X-ray film of autoradiography. Okay, so this is how we will carry southern blotting. You can see the diagram. So this is about southern blotting. Now let's see about northern blotting. Okay, here northern blotting is meant for the identification of RNA. Okay, this is meant for the identification of RNA. So this was meant for the detection of specific DNA sequences, and northern blotting was developed in year 1977 by the scientists James Alvin, David Kemp, and George Stark. So these three scientists, they worked on this particular blotting techniques, and they developed northern blotting for the RNA. Okay, they developed this northern blotting at the Stanford University. Okay, and they named this particular blotting technique after the southern blotting. That means based on the directions. Okay, so first identified blotting technique is southern blotting. Of course, it is named after the scientist southern, but they have taken the directions south for DNA, north for RNA. In that manner they have treated, and they named this as northern blotting. Okay, and here northern blotting technique is used to study gene expression by detection of RNA which is isolated. Okay, and this RNA is particularly mRNA. Okay, so this was developed by James Alvin, David Kemp, and George Stark at Stanford University. Now let's see the procedure. So this northern blotting is also little similar to the southern blotting. Okay, so let's see this. In this blotting procedure, it will start with the extraction of total RNA. So in the This is little similar to the first step in the southern blotting, where we'll isolate the DNA. Here we'll isolate the RNA, total RNA and the total genomic DNA. And this particular RNA, from this RNA, the mRNA can be isolated by using oligocellulose chromatography. By using oligo-DT cellulose chromatography, we can separate mRNA from the tRNA and rRNA. Okay, and RNA sample then will be separated by gel electrophoresis. Okay, separation and identifying mRNA using this oligo-DT cellulose chromatography, and will again undergo gel electrophoresis process for separating this DNA strands. And a nylon membrane with a positive charge is the most effective for using northern blotting, since the negatively charged nucleic acids have a high affinity for them. So here nylon membrane which is with a positive charge. Okay, and as these nucleic acids are negatively charged, we are taking positively charged nylon membrane. And here a transfer buffer will be used for the blotting, and here it is formamide. Okay, transfer buffer along with formamide will be used, and it lowers the annealing temperature of the probe RNA. Okay, and it will this probe RNA interaction will be prevented from RNA degradation by high temperatures. Okay, and once the RNA has been transferred to membrane, it is mobilized through covalent linkages to the membrane by UV light or heat. Okay, so after transfer of this particular RNA fragments or RNA bands onto the nylon membrane, this is treated with transfer buffer along with formamide for lowering the annealing temperature. Okay, annealing temperature will be lowered for the probe RNA interaction with the particular mRNA. Okay, after transfer of this particular RNAs onto the immobilized nylon membrane, immobilization will be carried by covalent linkages along with UV light or heat, and after it will be labeled with probe for hybridization of RNA on the membrane. Okay, and again membrane is washed to remove the excess probe, and the hybrid signals are then detected using X-ray film of the autoradiography. Okay, so almost technique is same. If you see applications, this northern blotting allows in observing a particular gene expression patterns between tissues, organs, developmental stages, environmental stress levels, pathogen infection, etc. Okay, so here this northern blotting will help us to identify gene expression patterns which are present between the tissues, and these gene expression patterns between organs can be identified. Gene expression patterns between developmental stages, that means during the development there will be different stages. Here between each and every development stage gene expression pattern can be studied, and also environmental stress levels can be identified, and also pathogen infections also can be identified. Okay, and this technique has been used to show overexpression of oncogenes and down regulation of tumor suppressor genes in carcinogenous cancerous cells when compared to normal tissues, as well as the gene expression in the rejection of transplanted organs. Here, studying oncogenes nothing but carcinogenic or cancerous genes. Cancerous cells are called as oncogenes, and overexpression of these oncogenes is seen using this Nadran blotting, and down regulation of tumor suppressor genes. That means in Nadran blotting, oncogenes expression will be high and tumor suppressor genes will be low, and also gene expression for rejection of transplanted organs can also be studied. Okay, gene here rejection of transplanted organs means during organ transplantation, sometimes organs which are transplanted will be rejected. That means they will not be properly taken by the body. Then these so whatever the organs which are rejected, these rejection of transplanted organs can also be, their gene expression can also be studied using this particular Nadran blotting. Okay, and regulated gene is observed by the abundance of mRNA on the Nadran blot, and the sample can then be sequenced to determine if the gene is known to research for its novel finding. Okay, so here regulated gene which is observed by this mRNA Nadran blotting can also be carried. Okay, and the expression patterns obtained under given condition can provide insight into the function of the gene. Okay, expression patterns of the gene can be identified, and RNA is first separated by size. If only one probe type is used, variance in the level of each band on the membrane can provide insight into the size of the product. So here first RNA is separated based on the size. Okay, and probe type which is used in the level of each band on the membrane can provide insight of the size of the DNA. Okay, and the variance in size of gene product can also indicate deletions or errors in transcript process. Deletions and errors can also be identified using this Nadran blotting. And by altering the probe target using along the known sequence, it is possible to determine which region of RNA is missing. Okay, gene alterations and gene deletions and errors can also be identified. Okay, now let's see advantages and disadvantages. Before that, once let's see stepwise procedure of Nadran blotting. Here RNA is isolated from several biological samples. RNA is isolated from several biological samples and various tissues, various developmental stages of same tissues, etc. And here RNA is more susceptible to degradation than DNA. So this RNA is easily degraded when compared to DNA. Okay, and here samples are loaded on agarose gel, and RNA samples are separated according to their size on the agarose gel. Okay, and the resulting gel follows after the electrophoresis run. We'll get different RNA fragments or RNA bands based on their molecular size. Okay. And next, the gel is then blotted on a nylon membrane or nitrocellulose filter paper by creating a sandwich arrangement. Here, for creating northern blot, we will use sandwich arrangement, which is not seen in the southern blotting. Okay, and the solution passes through gel and filter to paper towels. If you see the arrangement, base at the base there will be a support. Next to that we'll have a nitrocellulose paper gel, and next to that gel there will be a nitrocellulose paper on which we'll place paper towels, and this complete arrangement is placed in the salt solution. Okay. Finally, whatever the bands are present on the gel will be transferred onto the nitrocellulose paper. And here, after transferring, the membrane is placed in a solution containing probe. We will treat that particular nitrocellulose membrane with the probe solution for hybridization. Thus, it will hybridize to RNA on the blot that corresponds to the sequence of interest. And again, we will go for washing step. The membrane is washed to remove the unbound excessive probes. Okay. And labeled probe is detected via autoradiography, or here we can also detect using chemiluminescence reaction. Okay. If a chemically labeled probe is used, we can also identify it using chemiluminescence. Okay. In both cases, this result is in the form of dark band on the X-ray film. Okay. The expression patterns of sequence of interest in the different sample can be compared now. Okay. So now let's see about applications of the Northern blot method. Applications of Northern blot method. Here a standard for the direct study of gene expression at the level of mRNA can be achieved. Okay, a standard study of gene expression at the mRNA level, messenger RNA transcript level can be done using this Northern blotting. And also detection of mRNA transcript size. You can also identify the size of the mRNA transcript. Okay. And also we can detect the mRNA. We can also detect the RNA degradation. We can study the RNA degradation using this Northern blotting method. And we can also study RNA splicing. Okay. RNA splicing method can be studied using this Northern blotting, and we can detect alternative spliced transcripts using this Northern blotting method. And we can also study RNA's half-life. Okay, we can also study RNA half-life using this Northern blotting. And we can also study internal ribosomal entry sites to remove possibility of RNA digestion with this second cistron translation. Okay. So we can also study the internal ribosomal entry site. Okay. And to remove possibility of RNA digestion with second cistron translation. And it is also used to confirm and check this particular RNA, mRNA transcript. Okay. Now let's see advantages. This Northern blotting is widely accepted and well regarded model. Okay, and Northern blotting is a straightforward method. Often it is used as a confirmation or for the checking. For checking purpose or for confirmational purpose, this Northern blotting is carried. And it is a versatile protocol as it can allow the usage of many types of probes. Like real-time PCR, we can use many types of probes including radio-labeled and non-radio-labeled in vitro transcript RNA, and even oligonucleotide as a primers can also be used as probes. Here, wide varieties of probes can be used using this particular Northern blotting. Okay. And if you see disadvantages, often radioactivity is used. This prevents ease of performing it, use and disposal. New methods of non-radioactive detection has been generated along non-radioactive detection. So here this radioactivity is mostly used for the detection purpose of this Northern blotting, and this will prevent ease of performing. So ease of performing will be prevented by this radioactivity, and for this method, for this purpose, new methods with non-radioactive detection are developed. Okay, and the whole process of Northern blotting takes a long time, usually from sample preparation through the detection process. Okay, it takes, and the whole process of Northern blotting will take long time. Okay, it's a time consuming method even for sample preparation and also for the detection. From the time of sample preparation to the detection, it will take a very larger time. It's a time consuming process. If RNA samples are even slightly degraded by RNases, the quality of the data and quantitation of expression is quite negatively affected. So activity of RNases will affect this Northern blotting, and by affecting the expression of the RNA, if RNases act on RNA, and they will slightly degrade RNA, and expression of that particular RNA will be not perfectly seen. Okay, and the standard Northern blot method is relatively less sensitive than nuclease protection assays. Okay, that means standard Northern blotting is very less sensitive for nuclease protection assay and for RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase PCR. That means before running this nucleus protection assay and RT-PCR, this Northern blotting is very less sensitive, okay, than these RT-PCR and nucleus protection assay. And the sensitivity of Northern blots may be increased with the use of nylon positively charged membranes, use of a highly specific antisense probe. Okay, here we can correct this by using highly specific antisense probes and nylon positively charged membranes. Okay, and detection with multi probes is a problem. Detection using multi probes, as we use multi probes, that means radio, we can use any kind of probe used in this particular Northern blotting. We can use a radio labeled or non-radio labeled or primers, DNA, anything can be used as a probe, and multi probes can be used in this Northern blotting. So this detection with multiple probes is really a problem. Often the membranes must be stripped before hybridization and detection with the second probe. This is a problem as harsh conditions are required to strip off probes from the blot and is also time consuming. Also, there is a limit to the amount of times a blot may be stripped. Okay, so here to rectify or to overcome this use of multi probes in northern blotting, it can be overcome using treatment of membrane with second probe. Okay, this membrane is stripped before hybridization and detection with a second probe, but this is a little time consuming and also harsh. It is very hard during harsh conditions, so this is not so perfect method. And also little amount of time, there is a limit to the amount of times for blotting treating of this northern blot to treat with second probe. Okay, and this northern blotting is successfully used in the systematic analysis of SIG-D regulated genes in Bacillus subtilis. Okay, systematic analysis of SD regulated genes in bacteria Bacillus subtilis was achieved by using northern blotting analysis. Okay, so this northern blotting was developed by scientists James Alvin, David Kemp and George Stark at Stanford University in the year 1977, and they named this as northern blotting after the southern blotting analogy. Okay, so for the zinc they have named this as northern blotting, and this is meant for the detection of specific RNA sequences. If you see the stepwise northern blotting method, first RNA is isolated from different biological samples. Okay, and whatever the RNA is separated, it is separated based on the DNA fragment length, which is treated with restriction endonucleases, and by treating with restriction endonuclease, RNA will be broken into smaller fragments, and these fragments are separated using this agarose gel electrophoresis into smaller similar sized and based on the molecular size, this RNA samples will be separated. Okay, finally the resulted agarose gel is treated with nylon membrane, and whatever the gel RNA bands produced on gel will be blotted onto nylon membrane onto the nitrocellulose filter paper, and here sandwich model will be arranged. Bottom support on which gel will be placed, over gel nitrocellulose filter paper will be placed, and paper towels will be placed, and this complete arrangement is placed in a salt solution which will provide for the hybridization of these RNA bands from agarose gel onto the nitrocellulose filter paper. Okay, and later this particular NCP nitrocellulose paper, NCP is treated with probe. It is incubated with probe for hybridization purpose. Okay, and this RNA will hybridize with probe which is present in the buffer solution, and after hybridization, washing of unwanted, that means excessive probes which are bound to RNA will be washed with washing buffer, and whatever the labeled probes are there, these labeled probes will be detected using autoradiography or chemiluminescence can also be used for the detection of this particular labeled probes using autoradiography. Okay, and the expressed patterns of the sequence of interest in the different sample can be compared. Okay, this is how we can carry this particular northern blotting. If you see the arrangement here, first RNA is separated and it is treated with restriction in the nucleases, and the fragments were carried into agrosial electrophoresis, and then RNA will be transferred to the membrane through blotting, and cross-linking RNA will be carried using UV light, and next hybridization with P32 cDNA probe. Okay, radio labeled. Here P32 is the radioisotope which is labeled to the cDNA probe, and this is treated with the nylon membrane so that probe will attach to the complementary RNA fragment, and finally will detect using autoradiography.